What's up? I'm seeing all you guys' messages. Right on. Got some more people coming in. As you guys know, you veterans know, we usually let the song go for a while and we kind of chill because a lot of people come in after the fact. And there's people coming in every 2.5 seconds right now. There we go. Just admitting folks. Oh my gosh, Brandon's here, Brandon Allen. Jeez, that's awesome. From Florida. It's great. Keith's here. We got Kathy. Right on. Kevin, Sean, dude. All the dudes. All the ladies. V, I think, is a new person. Got Beth. Oh my god, that's so cool. Old friends, new patrons. Kathy's saying, wow, Eli, I haven't seen you around in a minute. Yes, we're gonna catch up with Eli. Haven't seen you since the Scold show in Delaware. Oh my gosh, people are gonna just fucking pull some fucking shit out of their hats from the old days. It's awesome. Caitlin says, yay, Eli. Oh, that's so funny. Let's see here. Yes, we're gonna catch up with Eli. Haven't seen you since the Scold show in Delaware. Oh my gosh, people are gonna just fucking pull some fucking shit. All right, cool. All right, sorry, there's a little bit of broadcasting on YouTube at the same time, audio coming through. Let's see if I can find this. People still coming in. Can everyone hear the audio okay? Yep, lots of thumbs up. Great. Everyone's so well behaved and muted. Oh my gosh, so much better than the Russian hacker days. Oh my gosh. There's such a well-behaved audience. It's just incredible. You guys remember the session that we did with the Annex? We got fully hacked by Russians. And fucking insanity. So we're pretty careful now about these posting our links and all that kind of stuff because it was pretty disruptive. I handled it pretty well, but it was pretty brutal. Session here. Here's piano outro. Kathy's all LOL, that was crazy. Oh my God, yes it was. Right on. Hi guys, how are you? Hope everyone can hear me okay. We got Amir here, we've got Eli here. We've got a bunch of our favorite people on. I see all of you here on the screen. We're broadcasting to YouTube live right now. I didn't set it to private because I'm still experimenting with how that works. We're trying to create these sessions so they last for you guys. You guys can go back and watch them later. I don't know if there's like a setting that I do ahead of time when I broadcast from Zoom. It's all kind of an experiment. So right now, other people can jump in. I was going to kind of take a look at, it looks like a bunch of people from other countries are jumping into YouTube Live. So guys, if you're watching on YouTube Live, this is a private Patreon session that we do, but we're doing it live just as an experiment, just to kind of, keep this as an archive for the people that weren't able to make it. We have about 100 plus patrons that aren't on right now that would want to see this stuff. So if you want to participate in this stuff every week, you can go to the Julien-K Patreon and subscribe. There's all sorts of different tiers. It can be really affordable, or you can become a real contributor and really support the band. That's all super cool. And it helps us keep this fucking train going down the tracks. So,
Pony show.
Yes, the Dog and Pony show. And we were on here earlier, just before we got Eli on, and as per usual, the session was crashing over and over and over and over. And the reason being is, even though we're constantly upgrading stuff and everything, my computer in this studio right now, not the laptop I'm on, but the computer that runs the studio, because we always keep that separate. It's important to do that, actually. Although a lot of people make it the same thing, we totally get that. We don't. That computer is seeing better days. Unfortunately, it's like every couple of years, you're fucked. and you have to get new everything. So Patreon helps us keep that going. It helps us keep the music going and all that kind of stuff, because it's pretty brutal to keep up with all that. So you guys are all part and parcel to making that work. So obviously you guys are all familiar with Eli. I don't know who's actually seen us perform with Eli. I think a lot of people, actually, because we play with Eli a lot all over the world, and it's really, really cool to have him on. Eli was definitely part of this song, Corrections, and yeah, dude, how you doing, man?
Hey, well, first off, thank you so much for having me. This is awesome, and what an honor. And it's cool to see all these people. Like, that's so awesome. The support is fantastic.
Yeah, I have in the chat here, Ghost Circus Forever. I have hi Eli. I have all this cool stuff, man. That's so rad. Kevin saw you with Scold years ago. I mean, it's like you've really done a ton of stuff, and now Ghost Circus. And you know, we purposely kind of picked a song that is less complicated. It is, there's not I mean, the lyrics are this big. There's like that many lyrics, which is kind of going to be interesting to talk about, but it leaves us a little bit more time to kind of catch up and campfire out and chat with you and kind of find out what you've been up to and talk about the rise of Ghost Circus, which has been like pretty phenomenal, and all the shit that you're doing. I don't know if people have noticed, but I wear on stage a lot of times almost, I'd say 80% Ghost Circus stuff. You know, Eli's made my latest like kind of techno kilt thing that I'm wearing in edema, and my vest that has a Julien-K edema like kind of collaboration, and all this cool stuff. So I mean, it's even if we're not playing together as much as we used to, we're still doing all this work together and collaboration together, and our family is still tight. So I mean, it's pretty extraordinary what you've done. I mean, how is your life changed? I know that you're in your house
Yeah,
up north right now, which is pretty incredible. You
yeah,
got a baby coming?
yeah. Little Bubbles is what we're calling her.
That's so
Well,
cute.
really, because we went through the IVF situation when we transferred her. If you look at the embryo, it actually looked like a whole bunch of bubbles, clustered bubbles. Actually, hold on. Let me see if I can. I actually have. Oh, wait. You see that one?
Oh my God.
That's her when we transferred her.
Oh
But
my God.
it looks like a clustered bubble. So I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna call her Bubbles because
That's so cute. That's so cute.
But yeah, we're 20 weeks now as of Friday, and it's been a ride, but I'm extremely excited and grateful, and yeah, life is definitely interesting.
For sure, for sure, and Ghost Circus is completely blown up and is like almost too much to handle. An overwhelming, awesome success, which is fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what's crazy is I still Ghost Circus and music. It's literally the same.
Yes,
Yeah, it's clothing or whatever. Who would have thought? But it literally supports all my friends, especially like, you know, like with you and the cool, awesome things that you're like, yo, we need to do this. And it really makes my mind go, oh shit, we gotta make this thing work. And it's really cool because it kind of pushes the envelope on creativity, which also kind of comes back in full circle to music, you know, and I think it helps present itself from the music and the vision, and it kind of comes together. So I think, like, you know, as you were just saying, like, you know, as much as we're not necessarily on the same stage
hmm
together these
Oh, we're
days,
still collaborating.
we're still collaborating. Yeah, and
Yes.
it's such a special thing. So I beyond appreciate the push to get.
Well, Eli has probably been the most world traveled drummer we have, I think. Us.
Oh,
right?
nice. Yeah.
Because, well, you went with us to Colombia, you went to Russia,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and you went to
Awesome.
Europe. Yeah,
Yes.
and you went to Europe too.
Yeah.
I don't know that any of our other drummers have ever done all of that.
Really?
I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah. Well, hey, lucky me. I remember having such a blast. Literally, like every single time we went, it was like the coolest thing in the world. you know, I mean, I guess there are some fun hiccups along the way, but
There always is, but you know, having you there made all of that so much better.
thanks,
This
man.
guy has the best attitude of anybody that I know, I think. He's just always like this. He's always smiling, he's always laughing, he's a good time. And he really, I mean, it made a big difference on some of those trips because there was some hard shit that we dealt with.
Yeah, I think the constant that you can find in music at this level when you're not, playing, when you're not in a big tour bus with like people taking care of you, when you're kind of, really doing like a DIY situation, even if you're making real money and everything, the one thing we can count on, we say all the time, is you can count on a tour, you can count on 5 or 6 days of real hardship. Like there's going to be some days where you're like, whoa, I don't know if we're going to get to the next show. This is fucked, or whoa, none of our gear's here, or whoa, this person's so sick he can't walk, or whoa, the whole vehicle is stolen, or I mean, shit happens, And I think I learned a lot from being with Eli, because Eli, he's really applied this to business moving forward. He really approaches everything with this really positive, like, okay, this happened, great, kind of laughs about it and just keeps fucking cranking. And I've definitely incorporated a lot of that spirit into my life, because I definitely have it in me to be like, fuck, defeated and just, it's fucked. This is fucked, God damn it. And you just can't fucking be like that if you're going to do this kind of a business, because every aspect of this business, or actually Eli, all business. Yeah. Right? I mean, it's like basically anything that, we project that it's fucking awesome and everything's working fantastic, because that's what you do. But what you don't project is how fucked it was to get there, how you already know that once you're done doing this thing, you got like 8 more fucked things to do. And the only thing you can change is your attitude. The only thing that you can affect is the way that you deal with it. And I definitely saw that in practice with Eli, every single day. And it affected me, especially once I was able to stop drinking and really get control of that and control of my own emotions and life and everything. It really was a positive influence on me. And I see it coming through in all of your work now. So this has been a running theme in our Patreon sessions too, is this mentality of how to stay positive and how to get our lives to work. And I think everyone in these sessions see that a lot of my songs are about that as well, that struggle to find that balance, and you exemplify it.
We've got someone on here that's actually seen Eli play with us here in LA and also in Helsinki, Finland.
Holy shit.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah. Who?
It's either Jonas.
Oh, Jonas. Oh my gosh.
Cool.
He's
like so
playing
cool.
with us here in Finland. How crazy is that?
I think that that Finland show was one of the best shows. You guys remember? And we were out with MSI, and we had a lot of hit or miss in Europe. We had some really good shows. We had some really weird shows, and then we got on with MSI and we did basically the Norwegian area, and it turned out really well. And I think Finland was the one where I was jokingly saying, I was like, oh my God, it was like we were Justin Bieber. It was just insanity. Everything I could do with my arms, they were right in with us and everything. It was just so fucking cool. And we got a lot of video from that. We got video of you up from your foot, like just rocking the place. And it was the last show.
He said we were the headliner in Helsinki.
No. MSI was.
Huh. Yeah.
And it was a big show.
Well, yeah, because weren't we supposed to go to Russia right after that?
We were supposed to go to Russia right after that. And that was we had that big session of deliberation, we were going to get on a boat and go to Russia and risk getting thrown in jail and deported.
Yeah.
Or we were going to make a command decision and say, fuck this shit, and get on a plane and go home.
Yeah.
And we made the command decision and got on a boat and went home.
Yeah. Kaylin said, do you remember when you lit that helmet on fire in Russia?
Oh
Oh
my
yeah.
God.
Remember that? Leroy?
I think I have that picture somewhere. I don't know where it's at, but yeah, we went to play the festival.
Yeah.
Then after that, right after that,
Club.
we went to a club,
Yeah.
played the club, and then right after that, that's when we're just like, hey, what's up? And the guy's like, you want a drink? And I'm like, sure. And I just thought he was going to give me a drink or something. And he's like, no, it's like this show. And obviously they're speaking Russian. And I think Ryan, you were trying to help me understand what's going on, but he just put a helmet on me. I didn't even know there was fire on my head, but like,
Yeah, they literally put a helmet on your head, give you these shots, and light your head on fire. And I started figuring out that this was going to get weird. And I was like, of course, I was fucking drinking too, and down for I was down to blow up the club if we could. And Eli's like, game. And I'm like, oh man, this is going to get weird. Put the helmet on, and the guy's getting self prepped. And I'm like, whoa, I don't know if I should tell him that he's going to get lit on fire.
I had no idea. I was like, what the? Until the pictures came out the other
And we
day.
got pictures and everything, and Eli just didn't know. But I mean, as usual, you're super game and super fun. And I think that would be one of those times where, do you guys remember we played we got to the festival, a monsoon happened, and we're like, okay, there's 3 inches of water on stage with all our pedal boards and everything. And I'm like,
and the entire crowd left.
The entire crowd left.
Yeah.
And I was like,
shit.
Well, this is fucked. And they were like, oh, no. In like 10 minutes, they'll be back. And we were like, how? There was 10,000 people here.
Yeah.
And what we learned is that they all go underground into the subway thing. And we're like, okay, that's fucking bizarre. And the sun comes out and everyone's there again. And we're like, okay. And they're like, well, after this, you go play this club tonight. And I'm all, no, we don't. We're playing this big show. We don't go play a club afterwards. It's like 2 shows in one day. We're not getting paid for that. And that would be that example of Ryan being like, fuck you. Well, we ended up having to do it. And it was awesome. It was fucking awesome. But, you got Eli, who's like, fucking A. Like, I just played a whole fucking set, in front of 10,000 people. And he's down to go play again, which being the drummer is one of the hardest jobs, physically. And, and that's, you kind of, when you're with someone like Eli, you kind of got to get your fucking act together and go fucking do it. Or, you're the wimp, so we went there.
My phone got stolen that night too. We had a locked dressing room, but somehow my phone vanished.
Yeah. It's weird how that happened a couple times. Well, that show turned out to be incredible. We got there, we played at like 2 a.m. or something. It was insanity. And I was just like, hey man, I'm just gonna have to drink, because I was pissed. And the club just sold out. It just packed, and we destroyed that place. I mean, it was so fucking good. It was probably better than the big show. I mean, people were just dancing. It was just amazing. We had a great time. And
Eli, didn't you and I stay longer? Because you flew back. I think you flew back, or everybody else flew back before we did. Remember?
Yeah, and I think I thought we stayed a little longer, I believe, but we
went
at in China on the in-between day.
Or that was before, yeah. We went around Hong Kong and did all that.
Yeah.
But you and I stayed an extra day or whatever. I actually had to stay by myself another day because I was going to Japan, but you stayed with me. And remember, we went to that party that they threw after the whole thing where we collected some things and we got books. Remember? The Vladivostok book and all of that. And we met the mayor.
Yeah. Oh, we met with the mayor. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, remember?
That's so cool. Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah. I think they gave us something.
It was a big, I got a plaque, right? I had to somehow carry home.
Yeah.
And then we got those books. Remember those Vladivostok books?
I still have them somewhere. Yeah.
It was a very weird party for sure, but lots of fun.
Yeah, no, those are the great times, Every time I went out with you guys, it was like the coolest adventures. Didn't matter where we went. It was always the coolest adventures.
I messed up that Jonas guys said that we were the headliners for them.
Yes.
That's the weird thing. I screwed up. Sorry about that. We
And we
had a
also,
lot of great adventures. I mean, Colombia was
yeah, I
another.
was gonna say Colombia
I
was amazing
love
too.
Colombia,
Yeah.
and we joke about this all the time. But
Oh
so
yeah, tell the story. Tell the story.
yeah, well, first off, we're all going down to Colombia, and we're like, okay, cool. Well, here we go. Now we put these songs together. Well, when I say we, it's really Amir and Ryan and them. You guys put these songs together, and you go, okay, well, I'm going to bring this, this, and this. These are very specific. I have to have these items. I have to, so we can play these certain songs. And we're like, okay, cool. Packed everything up, and we're getting down to Colombia. And we go through Bogota, and then we're on our way to Medellin. And we went to Medellin, and we get there, and Amir's guitar is missing. So everything's there.
Baritone.
The baritone guitar is missing. Now, the problem with this is there's like, what, 5 songs that we have to have that guitar, that we cannot play the show. You can't just go rent another guitar or someone comes up with one. It's a very specific guitar, specially made for Amir. And we have to have this for those songs. So we're freaking out. And Amir's like, I can't, I don't know. Like every 2 seconds, yo, let's check. The night goes on, no sign of this guitar.
All fucking night.
I didn't sleep for shit because I'm sitting in bed trying to figure out how I'm going to string some like normal guitar and like try to tune it down so that I can play everything, you know, like the way that I need. And I'm like, my brain's gone a million miles an hour. So I didn't sleep for shit all night. Yeah. So I come down in the morning.
Yeah,
you guys were already up having breakfast, right?
We had a full breakfast, like breakfast. We all had conversations. You're still worrying about it. We don't know what's going on, what's happening. We have the full breakfast. Ryan's like, okay, cool. Well, I'm done. I'm wrapping up. I want to do some runs because he usually goes out on the town in the morning or whatever just to check things out. And he goes, oh yeah, super side note, your guitar is in the lobby. Like, what? First, there's no side note. The song still playing. But super side note, yeah.
So not only the entire night, well, of course, never knew what happened, but the guitar showed up in the morning, and these guys were sitting there eating breakfast. They let me sit through the entire fucking breakfast while I'm just panicked that I'm not going to have a guitar and trying to figure this out. And the whole time, the fucking guitar is there, and they knew it. And they didn't even say anything. Oh, by the way,
super
your
side
guitar
note,
showed up this morning,
dude. And so now, whenever we like text with each other and stuff, we go, "Hey, super side note," and then we'll say like, "Hey, dude, you want to do Patreon with us?" Or "Hey, dude, super side note, but could we do like a this kind of shirt or whatever?" And it's always a thing now, and everyone in our orbit, they all kind of know that it's just fuckery on the highest level. And it's like we literally couldn't play the show without that. There was just, it's one of the reasons that I've talked about this before, but I told you guys that we tune standard, even though we play 7-string and there's all this other stuff that we do. And we've developed a situation where we can typically take one kind of guitar. And that's the reason, is because of times like this where we go international and we have to fly and one unique instrument doesn't make it, we're kind of fucked. So we even have to kind of construct our sets now based on this knowledge that, you don't know if your stuff's going to get there.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty big deal. It's a pretty serious thing that you have to consider. And especially now, we're getting ready to do a flight with the DEMA, and there's some proprietary gear that's got to come. And I told the guys yesterday, I was like, guys, that right now, if you don't fly with it on your body, you may not get it. So you gotta know that. And now everyone's kind of sweating some bullets because you're flying in. You got to play the next day. You have just that small window to find your gear if it doesn't come. So now we're, air tags and all this kind of stuff is becoming really fucking important. I wish we would have had it back then. We would have known where Amir's guitar was. Was it in Bogota? Was it fucking in Medellin? Was it in motherfucking Rio Negro, or where the fuck ever we were? It was crazy shit. And
it was a great time though. It's like we ended up playing this really small pizza joint.
Festival. Wait, remember we played the festival first.
Yeah, and that went so well.
Yeah.
Oh,
They
that's
asked us
right.
to, they asked us to play more shows. So we
Yeah.
played this big festival in Rio Negro where like Pablo Escobar's from. And we rocked that shit so hard the police were dancing.
Yeah.
Police
Yeah.
were
They gave
rocking.
me
They
they
were
gave
in
me
the
a
pit.
free hat. Yeah.
It was insane. And they found me later at like 3 a.m. They found me out on the street and they came up to me and they said, Julien-K. I'm all up, okay. And I'm like, that's me. And they like 25 of them like pulled up and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to jail. And they were all, I mean, an army of cops. And then basically they all were high-fiving me and they loved this show. So then they decided they were just going to walk with me everywhere.
Yeah.
Hey, and I'm walking with a gigantic army of policemen all through the streets at like 3 a.m. It
Oh,
was,
there it is, dude.
yeah,
I have
We'll
that
have
one
it.
too. It's somewhere in the house.
yeah, I've got one in my office too. So they gave us their hats, they gave us their phone numbers. If we ever need to come to Colombia and we need help from the police, we can call them. We have our own private police people. So it was crazy, but oh my God, it was the weirdest thing. I'm walking around just getting street food and like experiencing Colombia, you know what I mean, at like 3 a.m. and cruising around with my own gigantic army of police officers. It was very,
Yeah.
very fucking weird.
That's
Policia.
so cool. Yeah, and then we played.
Name and number inside.
Oh,
It's so
nice.
crazy.
Oh, okay.
It's crazy. And they were telling us that when we get on the plane to make sure that stuff is like hidden. Like you
Yeah,
don't want to be like
yeah.
jumping on the plane with like police fucking memorabilia and shit. I don't know. I feel like we barely made it out that place. So the show went so well, the big festival,
Yeah.
and we had another week, and they were like, "Hey, you guys want to play more shows?" And we're like, "Okay." I mean, we're here. So we ended up playing more shows. We played a really good show in Medellin that was at like a legit rad club and it was packed. It was super cool. But we also played this like pizza joint in Rio Negro. That was so
Cats.
weird.
I think it
And
was
there
called
The
Cats.
video, the
Yeah.
video from that has shown up online.
Oh
Yeah,
shit.
There's a
Yeah.
video, a couple videos on there, but I
Yeah,
think it's called
it's-
Cat's Pizza. Is that kid?
Yeah, it's that guy, El Gato.
El
Yeah.
Gato. Yeah, which is
El Gato.
yeah. And when they would take us around, we had to they would take us in the back of a pickup truck.
Yeah.
So we're like Julien-K, we're at like the nicest hotel in town, which is like not nice. It's like fucking weird. And they would pick us up in a pickup truck. Like that was our like transpo. And it was crazy. It was really fun. And that's where, traveling together with Eli, Amir, Fu, and me becomes really awesome because you've got a group of friends that are like having a really good time and have a good attitude about doing this and are down for the adventure and everything because it's not all rock star shit. The big 7,000 person festival we played was rock star shit. But then there's all this other chaos and craziness, and it really, really makes a huge difference to have, someone like Eli with us who has that like really fun, adventurous attitude, and there's a lot of problem solving and things that have to happen, and you just got to like figure it out and go. And we did it. I mean, we had 3 guitars, maybe some pedals, and no drums and nothing, and a computer, and we played 3 shows in Colombia, riding around in the back of a pickup truck, and some of them were in front of thousands and thousands of people. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty
I loved it.
See all of, I think you can see a lot of those shows online. There's
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
Hey,
but-
it's called Rock in Rio or
Yeah.
something.
yeah.
I definitely post some of the from the big festival. Like there's some really good stuff like Cruel Days of Summer and that kind of stuff connected so well down there. I mean, people were going crazy on Cruel Days of Summer. It was like we were Sepultura or something like that. I mean, it was really, really cool. It just had that like that connection, and the way we play it live is more rocking, especially with Eli. It just kind of smashes, and it was just rad. It was so cool. So I post that video periodically because it's so cool and fun, and the sound was really, really good. And so why don't we get into this this song a little bit and kind of chat about it. Like I said, guys, normally this is all about the song, and I break down the the tracks and everything right here. But the song is rather simple, and it's a unique chance to kind of chat with Eli and talk and hang out. And I see your guys' messages here and everything, and I appreciate it. Kathy said I could listen to you guys talk all day and these stories and all this nice stuff and cool memories and all sorts of stuff you guys are saying. We appreciate it, and that's why we thought it would be cool to have this kind of a session where we hang out a bit. Plus, I've been gone on tour and I missed you guys, and I just want to hang out and catch up and talk. So I'm happy to be here. So all right. I normally don't break down the drums because that's just the furthest part of what I do. And this whole kind of thing started out with this being more about the lyrics and vocals and stuff like that. But because we have Eli here, and Eli, working with Eli and the chunk and the body of work that we did with Eli really influenced the sound of Julien-K. And one of the things that we kind of picked up on with Eli when we first met him and played with him, remember the day we auditioned and shot 2 videos.
Yeah.
This is more, we have so many stories, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, Eli auditions and Frank, because we kind of figured that we were going to need multiple people to play because of availability. And so we wanted to do it with both of them. We liked them both so much. We shot 2 videos at the same time. Right afterwards, right after we auditioned, we had them both in a video, and it's just craziness. We are fucking crazy people, and that's just more of the crazy shit that we did just right on the dime. And we saw with Eli. Eli has this. Gotta turn someone off here. Hold on one second. See if I can find who that is. There we go. Got him, Ishmael. Yeah, it's crazy, the microphones, if there's any background noise, so that's why I have to mute everybody. And we noticed immediately that Eli had this incredible style. When he plays, it gets energetic, and it gets punk, and it gets kind of disco. He has this bashy fucking, and this, and he does it really, really good. And it made our stuff more dancey rock. And weirdly enough, we were going for that. We wanted that. And so a lot of our stuff has this really, really cool feel that Eli brings to the table. And I think that, and I think Amir can talk more about this, but when this song started Corrections, and I don't know if this is like a favorite song of everyone or if anyone cares about this song or whatever, I wanted to pick something that was a little bit more off the beaten path, to talk about, because I like to kind of delve down into the dark corners. But this song is kind of more of a jam, and oh good, we got some hell yeah, I love this song. It's more of a jam, and it does kind of have that Eli feel that I think is so cool. And I believe Amir and I were talking ahead of time, and this is a great example of kind of like some Eli and Amir programming. Pretty dancey, pretty cool. This like kind of, yes, Surrounded by Cowards too. Sarah just said that's another great example. Let me see if I go. Let me mute Damone. All right. So this is a great example. And Amir, you were telling me about you guys kind of messing around with this and how this began. You want to kind of chat about that for a second?
Yeah. So yeah, Eli came down to our studio. I don't remember. I don't really remember how far along this song was, but I know I brought him down because I was just like, yeah, I want you to like play some stuff on this. I want to see what you got, Or like I knew it needed some fills, and you're just the master of that disco beat, Yeah. And so, I was just like, yeah, let's just play around. We had this Nord little drum pad thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but the other thing that we did, which I remember we were all in the room together, and on the Nord pad, it's like a little electronic drum machine, but you can use an iPad as a sequencer. I don't know if you remember this, Eli, but I had the sequencer on my iPad.
Yeah.
And so you and I started messing around with that little, it's kind of sounds like a bell, right? It sounds like marimbas or whatever, and we started messing around with that and came up with that little loop. That's the loop that kind of goes through the whole song, right? That doom, 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 doom.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we actually did that together, and it was with the iPad, and we were all just kind of messing around. It was like, oh, this is cool. And so we created that loop, and then that kind of triggered a lot of other stuff, because as that was like running through the song, it was like, oh, we should do some little fills. And I know you just did, like, we just randomly did like all these
Little
little
fills,
drum
yeah.
fills and
Yeah.
like, you know, and then I had you play some beat stuff and I don't remember everything, but basically it just had this kind of the song is one of those kind of linear feels where, you know, it just kind of cruises along, but things kind of come in and out dynamically, you know, different parts and, you know, very new order in a way, you know, just having
Going down right here, or is it just dirty?
basic groove through the whole thing, and then you've got all these little elements that kind of come and go, and how all that happens is what keeps your interest throughout the song, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, there was a lot of little happy accidents, like the ending of the song where it fades into the piano was really cool. Who played the piano part, and that's really kind of in the background, but it was such a cool part that by pulling away everything else, all the rest of the instruments at the end, and just letting that feature, it became such an amazing like little ending, you know. And that was an accidental thing. I think we were just muting parts, and it was like, huh, that part sounds really cool kind of by itself. Maybe we should find a way to let that happen.
Yeah. Yeah, and I remember it's funny because the way that you program too, and the way that you direct these things is very unique, but also like you test everything. You know what I mean? And you're going, okay, let's play it this way. Okay, wait, now let's change that. Let's play it this way. So your finesse with those sounds that we added to it actually, I mean, it just brought it to another level. And I think that it's just a solid groove. You know, nothing's really like sticking out too much, but it all kind of accents one another. And it's like reading a really good book, you know, it just like kind of goes along, you know. I you know, the way that
well, thank you, Eli. Thanks.
Yeah.
I know there's a couple of very little signature Amir and Ryan guitar parts too, because sort of in the vein of maybe We're Here With You, post-punk kind of vibe, I'm doing this kind of you know, this little kind of groovy guitar part, right? That kind of drives the song a bit. This song really could have been on We're Here With You, I think. It has a very similar vibe. In some ways, it probably was something that was started around the time of that, but never really came to fruition until we started this next project. That little guitar part.
Yeah, I'm looking here. So I'm doing things a little bit different right now because as you're talking, I'm sort of finding the parts and kind of playing a little bit kind of low. Again, I'm playing a little bit of DJ right here, but it's kind of interesting as you're telling the story, and I go through and just sort of find some of these parts, and I think it's kind of fun to jump into this like this as opposed to how we normally do it, sort of in order.
Right.
We've got this, like, you're right, these jam parts. So where are those? Because those are really, really cool, and it's pretty indicative of the way that we were doing stuff in this time frame. You know,
Probably
trying to think of where. Mm-hmm. It's a really cool guitar tone too. Cool.
Like
Yeah.
a 16th note delay or so. It's almost like like the edge or something,
Yeah.
where it's like kind of repeating the rhythm, so it's not so stiff. It feels like it's like
Mm-hmm.
and then there's also that melody part that you did at the end of the song. I'm pretty sure you did that. The very end of, it's like on the outro.
Here it is down here. But it's not playing. It's not soloing. Weird.
It's so interesting because so many different parts are the glue. It's like it kind of passes one another to each other of being a part of the glue of the song. It's crazy.
There's actually some power chords in there too, I heard.
Hear him now?
Yeah.
Let's hear them together.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting. Had an interesting comment. He says there's a lot of parts that pass the baton to people.
Yeah.
Very cool.
You know, and that's one of the keys with a song like this. You know, there's the difficulty in this is how do you actually make it a song and not just like a groove jam. And I actually pulled a lot of influence from Hot Chip, the band called Hot Chip, and the way that they kind of groove their songs out, and there's still a catchy chorus, and they're not afraid to just like repeat a concept. And I definitely drew some influence from that when we were kind of, you know, doing this, and I started thinking of a way to make it a song, this kind of chanty kind of thing. And I didn't know if it would work and didn't know if anyone would like it, but it ended up becoming convincing, you know. I want to hear this kind of middle section too and find out what's going on here with these guitars, because I think there are also still so it seems like that stack is basically what becomes like the chorus. Pretty fun. And then you have this is kind of pretty classic, kind of that Amir kind of jam playing. It's just a lot of really cool, fun guitar playing. And the jam just kind of continues over here on this track. But obviously without the stack, it gets a little bit smaller here.
That's the Persian funk.
Mm-hmm. And then it's all coming together here. And this is everything now stacked.
It's awesome to see everybody like moving their head to the beat when there's no drums behind it. You know, it really makes it like, oh, that's a killer lick. You know?
That's funny that you said that, because it's definitely with the guitar playing. You know, when you have something like this going on, you have to sort of be rhythmic with it. And that's something Amir does, I think, really, really well, is get into that groove with you, that and then bring that kind of, you know, staccato rhythmic guitar playing while still having melody, you know. And then I do what I do, which is kind of this kind of shit. Boom, 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 because I'm more of a melody dude, you know. I'm not as good at rhythm. I see a hand raised. Yes, sir. Damone, how are you, brother?
Oh, you can't hear him.
All right, doing well. Can you guys hear me now?
Oh, yes, yes.
Absolutely.
Listen to that voice. Boy, he's just got it. He's like, yeah, hello.
No, what's up?
Hello, how are you? Oh, actually, okay, so I have a question for Amir, and this is just an observation. So whenever you're playing or whenever you guys record, throughout the piece, the phrase, the phrase is it's like they end on a tension chord, but that happens throughout the piece. It's like nothing resolves. It's like and someone made a comment about passing the baton
Yeah.
to the to the next I guess movement of the piece, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
Is that done intentionally, or is that just how you play? Is that your ear? I mean, what is
Oh,
that?
probably. Yeah.
Okay.
It's intentional. And I think it is how I play. I mean, at least for this song, it is the song that just kind of keeps going. But you have to kind of like, it never really resolves, really, ever. I
Interesting.
mean, even the ending, it still kind of leaves you hanging.
It does. It has like
It
this
never goes like
ephemeral-
dun 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 dun, right? It never
and I'm
really
like,
resolves.
and the classical musician in me is like, okay, where's the one chord? Where's the one chord? Where's the one chord?
It
just
never
never
does.
comes.
It
Yeah,
just
and it
leaves
just
you
never
hanging
comes.
the whole time, but it takes you on a journey, even though.
Right. That's interesting.
I always wanted to play this song live because sometimes these jam songs are really fun live, and sometimes when we play them live, we add more shit to them because we're jamming, and I'll get to play parts that I wouldn't have normally played on here because maybe I'm not playing here, I'm just singing, and it's cool stuff. It's hard to do a song like this that's open ended and make it a song. You have to kind of have some finesse, and there's different examples where we've done this. Breakfast in Berlin and different like jam kind of style songs where
Institution,
yeah, it's another one which we did play live, which sounded really good. I saw it pop up the other day on my on I think maybe Instagram or YouTube or something like that. It was really fucking cool. That's a really cool song. I hope sometime we can play this song live. These jam tracks tend to work really cool live. They really come alive.
interesting perspectives, guys. Damon and Kevin, you definitely are understanding it in a way that, to be honest with you, I really didn't think about, because I'm just, whenever I'm doing this kind of stuff, it's just what I'm feeling. I'm not thinking like, oh, it's very rare that there's rules to a song. Sometimes I'll create some rules. Like sometimes we'll talk about something and it's like, you know what, we're not going to do this on this song, and we're not going to do this. We're not going to do this. And that will give you a path, and sometimes that's a cool thing. Like Mannequin Eyes, there were definitely some things on there where I kind of laid down some rules, and I wanted that song to be really minimal and just keep it super simple. There's no symbols on it. There were some like rules, but a lot of the songs there aren't. Like this one, there were no rules. It's just, where is this going to take us? Let's just get on and see where it takes us. And it's really interesting that you guys caught that there really is no resolve to this song. It's very unconventional in that way, I guess. And some of these songs were kind of more experimental. This was on the second album, right? The Nightlife and Neon.
Yeah.
Nightlife and Neon was, interestingly enough, the idea going into it was that it was going to be more, not for us to not be afraid to be more experimental on that one. And some of these songs didn't work on the first one, and some of these were even some, I think, ideas that we had started during We're Here With You. So there was this interesting kind of thing that happened for that record, especially, that it was definitely probably one of the most experimental records, if not the most experimental records we've done, I'd say.
One of the fun things about doing a double album, you get that freedom.
Yeah, because we kind of felt like the hits were on the first one, right? Photo Voltaire, Strange Invisible, Cast in the Sea. What was the other one? I can't think right now. California Noir.
She's the Pretender.
Yeah, I mean, there were just a lot of like, it was poppier, that album. Like,
More commercial,
right? There were a couple of weird songs on that one too, but overall the focus of that one was like the best songs. Whereas the next one came out and it was like, okay, maybe these aren't the best songs, but they might be the coolest songs. Where we can kind of just go off and do stuff. But you know, even Dossier is something that has lasted on our set for a long time. And I think when we did that song, I don't think we realized in a way how it's actually a really good song.
Yeah. It's
Um,
very on brand for us as well. It really works. It just makes sense with our whole deal.
so even in doing these experiments, sometimes you just land on a good song. You get lucky.
Jason, I see your hand raised, my brother. Hit me.
This was kind of more of a little bit of a comment because Amir had like just brought it up, but on like this song, but definitely mannequinized. My favorite part in there is actually the Eli part where he does it only these two little tiny times. And I don't know if it's Amir doing a fade or if he's changing the velocity, but he starts hitting triplets on the quote unquote kick. And it comes in like strong, and then it just cuts off right before you go into the actual chorus. And it's just so fucking cool.
I know what you're talking about. Again, because that song is so minimal, I was trying to find ways to keep it interesting, right? So there's a section where it kind of builds up, and I'm using a delay to create triplets to make that part sort of build up, and then
So Amir just stole all the credit. Sorry, man.
No, it's a good question
I
because
mean, that beat is really simple.
have we done mannequinizing this yet?
I don't think so.
Oh, that would be a good
Yeah,
one.
you know, if we do that, we should have Eric on.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's just so much good stuff. So much good stuff. And the video and everything. We have Bob. We could have Caitlin. We could have that could be a really fun one. That's awesome, Jason. That's all awesome stuff to talk about. Damone, yes, sir.
Okay, so this is for all of you.
Wait, let me just answer one more thing to Jason's question there. Sorry to cut you off, man. What's funny about that is that, you know, where I kind of learned that trick was DJing. Because on most DJ mixers, they have delays that you can add in. And I always keep mine set on a triplet delay, always. And the reason for that is exactly that. You get to a part of a song and you can start to fade in that delay with that, and it starts to create a roll, right? And so I learned that from DJing, basically. And with a song that's so simple in a way, you know, very clubby in a way, because most club tracks, the drum beat, at least, you know, the kind of stuff that I like, house music, techno, whatever, it's very straightforward, right? I mean, it's all, you know, the whole song. But again, it's all these things that you bring in. And if you bring in a triplet delay, right? So anyway, I wanted to elaborate a little more on why that came about. You know, DJing and being in that world of club music. Lana's smiling over here because she knows exactly what I'm talking about. She does the same trick, I promise you.
Yep, I know what you're talking about. I'm glad you brought that up.
Awesome. All right, Damon. Sorry to cut you off, brother.
Oh no. You're fine. So again, for all of you, so in the spirit of keeping things simple, how do you know when enough is enough?
Oh my gosh.
Well, I think that, and again, Amir has a really good understanding of this, but he, like, you add a whole bunch of stuff, you know, if you're cooking as a cook or whatever, and you test it out, right? And you're like, oh, that's too much, or that's too much, that's what. And he'll, like, in my view, you know, there's a lot that goes on, and he goes, okay, let's take that away. Okay, let's put it back in. Let's take that away. Let's take this away. Let's dynamically see and hear what this makes me feel like. I think, and I think that as a chef in a kitchen, as a producer, and as a musician, he's like, especially in this song, he's very good at that. So I don't know if there is, you know, a cap to that, but you know, the very like, oh shit, we gotta pull this in and out, and this in and out, and then
I try to take away as much stuff as I can, and I find that even afterward, I could have taken out more. I always feel like there's always things that I'm like, you know, I still left too much in there. That part could have didn't need that part. You know, it's funny because I remember when we were doing Mannequinize, Eric had mentioned something when the song was mostly done, because Eric is great. Like, he's a great writer. He's also a great producer and everything. And he's like, I totally get what you're doing with the song. He's like, I love it, like how simple you kept it. But he's like, that one cymbal hit here, and he had a couple little comments, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? You're totally fucking right. Like, that doesn't need to be there either. And sometimes it's hard to catch it all, because sometimes you just get used to hearing it. And it's hard. It's hard to be objective sometimes, to know how far is too far and how far to reel it in, because again, you get used to hearing these things. But that's why I always try to constantly, like, okay, well, let's just take that totally out. Let's take that totally out, until you start to lose the groove or whatever. At that point you're like, oh, okay, now it doesn't feel right anymore. And then you start bringing it back in and you go, okay, that's doing that, but we still kind of need this. And then it's like, okay, that's good enough. You don't need more than that.
Yeah. I think that one thing that we definitely try to do, because there's always a lot of shit, there's always a lot of tracks, there's always a lot of stuff we're adding in, we always try to remove. I mean, that's almost like a series of reduction is almost something that permeates our performances, our interior design sense.
Less is more always.
Our graphic design sense, our videos, our business, everything. We're always trying to see, like, look, it's real easy to like barf all over everything and have everything in there. It's much more difficult to be really disciplined about, pulling enough out that it's just enough of what it needs. And I think that's always the process of finishing these songs. Is it's okay to kind of barf all over the song and everything and put all this stuff in there, but you got to sit down and start removing things and making sure it's not this clouded up, messy kind of situation. And I think when you introduce that kind of discipline and that kind of like I don't know, like ethos into your work, I think it really ends up helping. There's a lot of stuff that's just doesn't actually help the song, and it's very good to really think about that. But the cool thing with digital audio is that you can really do a lot of stuff and it's not going to hurt. It's not destructive to mute it and turn it off or do whatever it is you got to do. So that's it. That's a really good question, a really huge question, Damone.
Yeah,
I think it's a difference between artist and then taking a separate hat as a producer and being able to pull yourself away from the art that you're like, oh, I love that though. You're like, okay, well, hold on, kiddo. Let's pull that away just to hear it or see it at a different perspective.
It's definitely hard. I can say that, it is sometimes hard for me to separate myself.
And that's where you use the techniques of getting the fuck away from the music, taking breaks. Yep. We walk away from songs for a long time, probably too long a lot of times, but that's, because we're busy and also lazy. But you gotta step away and jump back in, and you have those days where you go back and re-listen to everything, and days where you walk away from everything and start something new and all that kind of good stuff. So let me keep moving here, because we are, as usual, making a record length hangout session. And I know people have stuff to do, but this is fun. I want to listen to, there's only one or two things going on in bass world. Let's just listen to that real quick and see what it is. Pretty simple. Simple and big.
What does it say it is?
Bass 05.
Delicious.
That's it, one track. Let's see what's going on over here too. Hold on, let me get over to this. It's like one little... Oh, that's just when we changed, we just added more notes. Picked it up a little bit. So it's one synth, and unusually simple for us. I mean, it's not a bunch of layers, but it's a pretty big, Juno, Jason's saying down here, maybe.
I think it's my art.
Okay.
I'd probably just gotten that, and I know I used it a lot on this. on these.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean it's an unusual situation where you guys know how we usually do our bass. There's a couple different layers to it, and you know how we do our guitar tones and stuff like that. They're usually what you're hearing is a combination of a different stack of different types of guitar with different kinds of EQ and different amps and stuff like that. This song's a little bit more pure. The instruments are what they are. There's not a whole lot of foolery going on there. There's not, layers of bass and all this kind of stuff. So that's a little bit unusual for us, and it's one of the reasons why I thought this song would be kind of interesting. So let's listen to Keys Land here. Find out what's going on here. There's a decent amount of keyboards. So here's that Nord loop.
Yeah.
And it's got this other loop down here. It's just that monotone you guys can hear. So you can add the beat to it and you can start hearing really what's happening with the song.
Hey Ryan, turn
Yeah.
the volume up for maybe the music. Not you, but maybe the music could be a little louder.
How is it now?
Better. There you go.
Great. Big Akai. That's the shit right there. Blade Runner, hello. I mean that right there, I mean you almost don't even need a beat. It's like pretty badass. But then you can go in and add, Pretty fucking cool. Simple but big. So still, this loop just running through the whole thing. More hugeness. Pretty cool, just accent notes. Yeah, very Blue Monday. I see down here, Sarah. Yep. I'd love that as my ringtone. That's funny. So this is a filtered version of the Akai. So same synth sound, but it looks like Amir filtered this, so it has a different feeling.
It's to leave room for all the other instruments.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, there's a little DX7 or something going on there.
So you can hear all these little stabs and hits coming in and stuff, like a car's passing you or something. Very Blade Runner. All of it is designed to come in and out of the vocals and leave room for other instruments. As usual, we're not filling up the track with bullshit. There's choices made all the time. It's not everything at once. It's one thing at a time or two things at a time cooperating. A couple little stabs coming in here, Nord tones.
Oh, that, yeah.
Yeah.
Gonna do it again.
Very 80s like any kind of 80s movie is kind of what it's.
Yeah. Bum bum. And this stuff, you almost don't hear it in the full song, but it's really in there and it's important, Still the filtered Akai, which is leaving room for all that, make things right and all that kind of stuff. The chorus break. Super cool, and you guys can see in here, it's also super treated. Like there's a big old crossfade going on in the middle of it. Some weird shit.
I'm gonna bet that's a food thing.
Yeah, it looks like Foo tied his shoelaces on the fucking Pro Tools. Okay, and then we got Foo coming in, doing these chords. It's always gonna be Foo, and we have this kind of stuff. Very orchestral, very cool. Pull everything out. Just those stabbing keyboard chords. and some fucking legit piano. Pretty cool.
It never resolves.
What's that?
And it never resolves. It just fades
Yeah.
out.
Just-
and it
yeah.
keeps, like,
Keep fucking going, buddy.
I feel uncomfortable.
Keep going, buddy. So there's one thing I wanted to put in here as well that we didn't cover, and that's there's a really, really cool, very, very orgy Julien-K kind of thing that's going on here in the guitar realm. Stuff that we do when we're just, it's just what in the fuck? It's just when we're sitting there noodling on stuff. Sometimes, and we did this in orgy a lot. There's just times when, you know, we have all the effects going and someone's working on something on the computer and someone, you know, you got everything going and just touching the guitar makes interesting sounds. And, you know, you'll be noodling and making the sounds and playing with the effects while typically someone's working in Pro Tools. And there's a ton of that that ends up making it into the song, you know, and something like this just really like, it's really, really cool. Really sets a mood. And that's all it is.
You know what's funny to me? Like when I hear sounds like that, like in my head, I call that like kicking a can down like an alley or something.
That is totally the sound, yeah.
Right?
What
It's
pedal
like-
did you use? I'll kick the can down the alley pedal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is accurate. So yeah, I mean, and that's a fun thing about a song like this as well, is there is a whole lot of just kind of sitting there while people are playing with, you know, beats and kind of like layering things, and then as you're doing it, you know, you're playing with the delays and stuff and you know, getting the guitar parts in time, and then you get these interesting little accidents like that turn into a full-on part. It's just scraping the pick on the strings, you know, on the low string, so it gets that interesting tone. Damone.
Okay, so Ryan, has that ever happened with your vocals? Have you ever?
Oh yeah.
Have you ever used like a vocal effect and then
Yeah.
on the tail end of the delays, something weird happens and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. Amir's rule is always leave the mic, always be in record. If I'm at the mic, because with me, a lot of times the first time I do something is the best time. A lot of times my initial idea is the best idea, and the happy accidents that happen are always useful. And that's the really good thing of when we're working together and someone's actually doing this and I'm singing, a lot of those happy accidents can get captured. So yeah, we do, there are a lot of vocals on all of our music that are kind of the happy accidents or tail ends of effects or whatever it is. Some of them can get chopped up and literally made into like staccato parts, and I'm a huge fan of that kind of stuff. And I'm sure as we go through more Decode radio sessions, I can find more stuff like that and show you guys where it really, some of them have really, you know, become parts of songs and everything. So absolutely. It's really an everything, you know.
Vocals. Let's talk about vocals.
Yeah, let's get in there. But yeah, absolutely. Yes, sir. Oh gosh, you guys are so disciplined, meeting re-meeting yourselves. All right, so you can see here, vocals are pretty minimal. And another reason why I thought it might be kind of fun to do this, because sometimes this stack here is massive. It's, you know, it's a huge amount of stuff. Let me mute that. Okay, I'm gonna have to figure out how to control that better. So let me share the lyrics. Also, not too crazy. Can you guys see that right now?
Mhm.
Yeah. So not much here, and that's making a whole song. You know what I mean? It kind of proof that you don't really have to have, you know, a fucking Bible of lyrics to make a song. Sometimes you can just get to the point and do it, and you don't have to overthink it. And this is a great example of that, which I thought might be an interesting example for you guys to also just hear kind of what my vocals sound like when there's not, you know, a stack of vocals, because you guys know that with me there is often a big stack of vocals, you know. This is just kind of pure, you know. And let's take a listen to the first line. Looks like, I don't see a lot of, it looks like a take, you know, not a bunch of, you know, putting it together and all that kind of good stuff.
In the light of your eyes, there's nothing I
Just soft, no layers.
do to find the moonlight. In the light we could find, there's nothing I wouldn't try to make things right, make things right, make things right.
So another, you know, really rather simple vocal, but there's definitely melody there. There's definitely, you know, you guys, I know I've shown Damone and Jason and stuff where I have like a little keyboard right here that's always in front of me. Before I had this, I would kind of pick up a guitar and bum, 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 bum. Make sure that I'm doing a melody. Make sure that I'm not just kind of going, you know, just singing some bullshit, because when you do that, sometimes you will end up singing one or two notes. And we work with a lot of singers that do that. They think there's a melody there, and there's actually not a melody. There's like two notes, and they feel like they're doing a bunch of shit, but they're not. So for something like this, be a really great example of when I would actually kind of go in and make sure that this is
Of your eyes,
bum bum bum,
there's nothing
bum 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 bum. Make sure it's a melody.
wouldn't do
Bum bum bum,
to find
bum bum,
the moonlight.
bum bum bum,
In the light
bum bum bum.
we could
Very Martin Gore on that one, right? Like, so it's important on something this simple. You really got to nail the melody. Like as a singer, you've got to fucking bring it, even if it's subtle and all that kind of stuff. When you pull the music away, you can hear there actually is a scale being done. There actually is movement, and there's notes being picked, and that's super important stuff. So something I did. You know, like I said, there was some Hot Chip influence. I was listening to a lot of Hot Chip at the time, and I love how they're super melodic. You know, that singer's just very melodic and very simple, and there's all sorts of examples of them where they do these kinds of just repeating.
make things right, make things right, make things right.
And I don't know, Amir, is that a stack and we're hearing it all in one track, or is that an effect? I think I did a big stack.
I think you did. Yeah, I think there's a bunch. There's probably effects on it too, but I think it's more than. Yeah.
I remember we went in there and we're like just gonna do that thing, and I wanted this chant, and we just layered it and layered it and layered it. So we're obviously seeing like a little bounce of all of it together.
Yeah.
Make things right,
But again,
make things right, make things right, make things right, make things right.
Sounds filtered too.
Make things right, make things right, make things right.
so there's still, even though that's this chanty, mostly mono note thing, there's still real notes being put in. You guys I always go back to that when I explain like the songwriting and melody kind of process. I always want to make sure, you can even hear I jumped in with another melody in there. And yes, Kevin, it would be that would be the idea, as the crowd sings that along, and that maybe that'll happen when we play it live. Those are always the best things. But when I write stuff like this, I'm always imagining something that a crowd could get really quickly, and that the fans of the band can get really. I love this song. This is easy to sing. I can sing it along, and something where I could take the microphone and put out there. I'm always thinking about that when I'm writing. I'm always thinking about that. That's super cool stuff. Interesting thing is, on the last Edema tour, the newest songs, Ready to Die and actually Violent Principles, there were a couple shows where, New York being one of them, that the somehow it was a, you know, if it wasn't sold out, it was close. It was a packed audience, and they were singing the lyrics to that song louder than I was singing them. So I just stopped and I just held the microphone out. I was like, okay, the song's fucking brand new. I don't know how you guys know this. It's been out 2 weeks. And I was really happy. So whatever I did there with that song, the lyrics and the melody, for some reason, it got people, and it's been being sang back to me. So I always use that information. This is why I like playing live, honestly, because it really helps influence what we create in the studio. And I know, again, Lana and a lot of you guys that actually do live performance and stuff like that, you get that feedback, and you can use that to create the music and create the mood and create the art. If you don't get that feedback, it's kind of hard. Some musicians can do it, but it's pretty hard to figure out exactly what's going to work. So that would be a great example of something that just in a matter of weeks it's been out, and people are really, whatever it was that I did, I got to tap into that and use it more on other songs. And so it looks like there's 2 layers here. Let's find out what it sounds like. It sounds like I did a harmony.
The look in my eye is the calming
And it's
kind.
really quiet.
The lies I used to console you have been refined. I could try to find what's in your mind,
If it's even playing.
but the truth just wants to look forward and make things right.
So let's listen to that without, let's just solo this whole thing and see.
The look in my eye.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it's playing. Does it sound like it's playing, Amir?
I don't think so. Mute your low one and see if you can hear it.
Yeah, no, it's. Oh my God, it's.
Low.
Yeah, it's really low. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna be ballsy here. I'm turning that shit up. I'm gonna fuck with this mix.
It's like, just don't save it.
No, it's a completely different session. You can do whatever you want.
Oh, it's not letting me. Okay, so you guys can kind of hear it. This would be another one of those little situations where, we're clinching the balls and we're really going higher than I should be able to go. And I do that. You guys have heard it a million times. I do this all the fucking time. And it ends up, honestly, on the song, I can hear it a lot better on the actual album version, but.
The look in my eye is the calming kind.
It just kind of adds this air.
As I used to console you have been refined.
There we go.
I could try to find what's in your mind.
I almost don't even know how I
But
got
the
that high.
truth just wants to look forward and make things right. Make
things. So, okay, yeah. So that's, you guys remember on different sessions where I told you you have to like get into character. To do that kind of height when you're a baritone like me with the ability to do a falsetto, you have to fucking, to do it quiet like that and that high, you have to kind of chill the fuck out, and you have to get into get your headphones on, maybe peel an ear off, and you have to, boo, boo, boo. You have to really kind of practice getting that falsetto to happen. And it's tricky. There's some stuff I know I played notes on here that I literally am like, what on earth was I thinking? And that is really some high falsetto stuff. It's tricky to do. But the trick as a singer to do that is to you gotta turn off your brain. You gotta turn off the fact that there are people in the room, and you've gotta just sit down and you get up on the mic and you have to find it in your head, because it's not about pushing. It's not about any of that stuff. It's about relaxing and knowing you have the note, knowing that you can get there, and knowing that it's not how hard you're trying, it's how hard you relax and where you put your voice. And that's a tricky thing. It's really tricky to do live as well, but that's how the art of being a singer. Cool. As Jason's like, this is why I'm glad I live with no sense of shame. That's funny. I need that too. All right, so let's find out what's going on as we keep going here, and then we'll get into the meaning. All right, basically a lot of stacks of the same fucking repeating thing, and a little embellishments and melodies.
Make things right, make things right, make things right, make things right, make things
And then through the end, coming up to this.
We've gotta make things right.
A lot of restraint there. Not trying to carry the note too long or anything like that. So that's all good stuff. Very unlike me. So Eli's laughing. It's like, yeah, very unlike me to put on the brakes for a second and not try to make it.
I probably just faded it out.
Maybe. I probably make things right. You know, it is a weird note. Make things right. It's right in this like hard to hit note. It's not that it's really high or low. Sometimes the middle notes are the hardest. They're the most quavery and the weirdest. When you push hard and whoop, you know, that's really even, and that's real even. So the extremes can be easy, but the middle is actually quite difficult to do when you're the singer. So awesome. So that's the song, and I guess that we're at that point where we can kind of talk about if anyone has any ideas what this little ditty is about, what they might think this little ditty is about. I can put the lyrics back up here. Pretty darn simple. And it really might seem like it's simple. Let's go ahead and give Damone a stab at this.
Okay, so the first thing that comes to mind is Chasing Amy.
Explain.
Okay, so for anyone who's seen the movie, Kevin Smith, he tells a story about how he dated a girl. How the Silent Bob character rather dates this girl, says some unsavory things to her. They break up. Later on, he realizes that I made a mistake, and but by the time he realizes it's too late, and so hence Chasing Amy, the name of the girl. So that's what comes to mind. Some things were said, some things were done, and if only we could take those things back, it might make things better, or it might make things right. So yeah.
I mean, that was you very, very right on. That was a really, really good analogy too. Anyone else got some ideas before I fucking break it down? No? Oh, Simon. Right. Hi, buddy.
Hey, how you doing?
Great. Great to see you. Your hair looks great.
Oh, thank you. I got it cut yesterday.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm in.
Do it more often.
All right. Okay, I have my orders. I'll do that.
Yes.
I'm in Bulgaria today.
That's
so hi from Bulgaria.
Man. That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, I wrote it in the chat. It seems to be a lot like a relationship thing I'm working on right now, where it's like I'm taking a new perspective, and instead of trying to analyze and understand every single little thing, just look at the solution and look longer term and try and take a step back and be more big picture instead of getting like micromanaging the relationship.
That is really fucking good, and both of what you guys just described are all in this. That's. I mean, this is the first time that the first two kind of explanations or interpretations have been like really spot on. That's really great. That's awesome. Is that anything else? That's it for what you're thinking? Yeah. Okay. Anyone else got some ideas?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh no, it's great. I mean, you just nailed it. I mean, you really guys just actually nailed it. And I'm sure it's a pretty obvious song. So you guys want me to get into just kind of breaking it down then? Anyone else can raise their hand at any time. Okay, so Corrections is kind of a commentary on my whole fucking life. At the time, I was drinking a lot, and everything that both Damone and Simon said are super relevant. I was guilty of all of it. Guilty of every, mistake that you could make, and like little fucking quip and hurtful thing and all this kind of shit that I could do to everyone around me, especially someone who's in a romantic relationship with me. But this can really be about everything. Although I write, as you guys know, as you guys have been in these sessions before, I write from a romantic point of view a lot of times, because I just think it's useful and it's kind of makes sense to me. But yeah, so this song is really about, it ties into the tattoo on my chest, deliverance, all this kind of stuff, this concept of being, delivering yourself from evil or from wrongdoing and making things right, and this is kind of a commentary about me and a lot of the things that I've been trying to do my whole life, which is like make things right. It's actually quite literal. And the way that I talk about it is kind of like in the light of your eyes, there's nothing I wouldn't do to find the moonlight. Who am I talking about? Not anyone really in specific, no one specifically. It's almost like in the light of truth, like if truth were embodied into a person or a being, right? There's nothing I wouldn't do to find like the cool darkness and the calm, you know what I mean? There's something about the moonlight. You guys know when the moon first comes up at night, it's finally night, work for most of us is done, and you get to fucking chill out. There's a really nice feeling, right? It's different than the morning, the moonlight. It's just something special about it. And so that's what I'm referring to. In the light, we could find there's nothing I wouldn't try to make things right is kind of that reference again. I'm talking to like the truth. I'm talking to truth, the embodiment of truth, the light. There's nothing I wouldn't try to make things right. Pretty self-explanatory. And then the repeating of make things right is like a mantra, right? That you're telling yourself that this mantra, by repeating it, you're kind of really baking it into your system. And the look in my eyes, the calming kind, the lies I used to console you have been refined. That's a reference to the fact that not all lies are evil. Can you imagine a world where we didn't lie about anything? It'd be pretty mean. You know what I mean? So there is like the lies I used to console you have been refined. Maybe I've gotten the kind things that aren't always accurate to be even more truth in them and even more natural. And there's a little evil in there, but the meaning is kind of pure, it's I'm being calm. I'm learning how to be more calm. I'm getting better at understanding the things that I need to do to make the situation better. And that's kind of what that's about. And it's sort of about the journey and learning how to be that person. I could try to find what's in your mind, but the truth just wants to look forward to make things right. And that was, Simon really nailed that one as well. And that's, I could try to totally figure, other people out and understand, everyone's needs, wants, and desires, but that isn't really the best use of our time. We should just look forward and think of the big picture and try to make things right and work on ourselves to make things better, not try to get everyone else to be this puzzle that we can solve. You know what I mean? And then the mantra again. And so it songs like this really lead to my current understanding and the current way that I am, which is, 85 days in rehab and, and fucking, lots of, death and destruction and craziness that's ensued. Now we're at a point where, we're able to make this music that's on the edge and tour and do these hard things and business and all this kind of shit, but we have a pretty sustainable, good attitude about all of the stuff. And this song is a little bit of a prelude to that. It was when I was looking for that and I couldn't find it. And a lot of the songs, as you guys know, are about the journey and the search for some sort of clarity and peace, right, in our lives. And that's how you can create songs that sound nasty and sound evil and sound weird or sound attacking or sound fucked, because we're trying to find our way through the fuckery. Doesn't always mean that you're a fuck or that you want to do animal sacrifices. It actually just means that's just what you're trying to fight through. You know what I mean? So at least with my writing and a lot of the stuff I hear other musicians write and that I know personally, a lot of it is them just trying to find the truth. And that's really what the song's about. So, guys, thank you so much. Eli, Amir.
Yeah.
It's fucking amazing. Anyone got some comments or something? I see Kathy and I see Sarah's. All good stuff. You guys always have such awesome shit. That's awesome. Literal tears, like a sign. You guys are super fucking cool. Because when I'm blabbering, I can't read it all. Awesome. So yeah, guys, thank you so much. Eli, dude, I love you so much, and I'm so glad you did this with us. We should do it more because honestly, we could just do a campfire session with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There's so much, and I'm again ever so grateful for you guys giving me the opportunity to audition. You know, I remember sitting right there, Ryan, right behind you. I had black hair was coming down one side with blue coming in through my hair. And Amir walked in, he's like, you look like you just came out of an orgy music video. I was like, what's orgy? Like, I didn't know. And I think that really opened the door to connect, which we just started talking about EDM, cool shit, music.
Yeah.
Anyway, and you guys gave me that opportunity. So without that, I wouldn't be here today, to be honest. So
dude, no way. You're an unstoppable beast. And I was just going to say that the honor is ours, and you improved our lives, and you continue to do so every day. And that's the only kind of relationships I want in my life. So I think that it would be great if we could do more of this together. I hope it was fun for you too, and enjoyable, and kind of like all of us getting to hang out together in the same room. And we do this a lot, so I'd love to do a feature on Ghost Circus and some other stuff where we can chat about what you're really doing up there, and I could learn too. But all for the future.
Absolutely. I'm totally down, and it was great to see everybody, and it's awesome. Thanks for all the support, for Julien-K and for everything else. It's so
Ghost Circus, everyone. Yes. And we'll do more collab pieces. And I know that we chatted a little bit at our Edema show at the observatory about possibly even doing some Julien-K songs or mini tours or stuff with you, because we want to keep our family and our relationship alive. So that's really, really cool stuff, and bring back that bashy fucking disco to the fucking Julien-K fucking sound. So
yeah, absolutely. I'm totally open, my man.
That's awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much. This was a really long one. I appreciate you guys sticking around, and I hope that this works for everyone that missed us. I'll post the link for YouTube, and then we'll see you next week for another a different session. We're working on it, fuckers. And Eli, love you, buddy. Amir, talk to you later. Okay,
cool.
see you all.
See you.
Take care.